All right. What's up, man?
Howdy.
How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Let's get you to first introduce yourself.
Indeed. My name is Jake Munger. Most people call me Juicy Bones, or just Juicy for short.
Why
Yeah.
did you choose that name, your artist name you did?
That was it's one of those ones where I don't think that you should name yourself. Um, I started off in Bellingham in Whitney Harmon's studio, and he had some shop dogs, and I was the only person at the time who kind of like needed a nickname and Instagram kind of thing to run on, and he brought someone brought his shop dogs these bones, and they referred to them as Juicy Bones. And he pretty much was like, all right, someone needs to be named that. And it happened to be me.
You're like, it's me. Okay, what is the first thing you made in glass?
It was a little flower implosion that my mentor who was teaching me turned it into a wine glass for my mom, and I made a video of it and gave it to her. And everything. It was really cute.
Mom still have it?
No, actually, it broke, but I have the stem.
Okay.
Yep. One day I'm gonna
the implosion, right?
Yep. One day I'm gonna remake the whole cup basically, and then use that same implosion for it.
Love it. So you kind of talked about working in Whitney's shop, but let's go over your story of how you got started in glass.
Indeed. I guess it kind of just depends on how far back we want it to go. Even in high school, I was always hands-on, and as soon as degenerate art came out, it was kind of like one of those post-degenerate artists, and so that combined with Instagram made it really apparent of this is something that's realistic, and there's a community of people out here creating things, and it didn't just seem like some pipe dream. And so I kind of just started putting energy out there of wanting to meet these people and just to interact, and then one day learn how to do it. And so my foot in the door was making e-nails. What do you have? It looks like a little snake. He brought a snake in. Thanks, Stripes. Jeez, buddy.
Oh, we got a little snake.
I would stand up to get it, but I'll let you just play with it, I guess. Oh, if it goes underneath the thing,
all right,
we'll have to redo.
We'll do snake paws. We're good.
Hey. Oh, damn it. Oh, did he make it out? I think he made it out. Get out of here, buddy. He did make it out. Yes. Yeah, blah, blah.
Oh, man, that's hilarious. Snake.
Last couple times he's brought in things in that were alive, they go underneath the fridge and they get stuck. All right.
Oh, my goodness.
Do we want to reset to a certain point?
Yeah, I mean, if you remember where you were, but the last question was, how did you get started in glass?
I think we were talking about degenerate art, Instagram, trying to put things out there. I found a e-nail wiring diagram on Reddit that someone had posted, and they put a link to all the different parts and stuff. So I don't know what kind of got that in my head, but my foot in the door into the community was making e-nails. And then I happened to meet an artist on Instagram, and he was interested in the e-nail. I was interested in the glass, and so he invited me out. And the first day that I went to go out and meet him, a store owner basically bought all his available work and said, you know, any of these that you can make, we're going to swoop them. And he didn't have a car or a helper. He couldn't really have any way to like get gases or anything like that. So like the first day that I met him basically went from like, all right, sweet, this is glass blowing, to like, I want to be your apprentice. I'm going to drive you around and I'm going to do this because I knew that it was something that I wanted to get into.
Yeah, and you already kind of saw the demand at that point, right? And you're like, okay, this is a viable thing.
Honestly, the demand was more from the degenerate art movie and just seeing how like there were people doing it. The demand hadn't quite hit my mind yet of like, no, this is actually something that you can make a career out of.
Right. Okay. So what were some of the big influences when you started? And that can be artistic, that can be glass, however you want to take it.
Before I moved up to Bellingham, I want to say the first like somewhat big name artist that I found and really connected with and even bought one of their pieces was Beer Glass. That was a huge inspiration from the get-go. And then going to Hempfest before I moved up to Bellingham, I remember one year I was going around at all the booths looking for like heady, nice stuff. and taking pictures of the art, and especially if it had like a little name tag or something or a location. So anything that said like Bellingham was like, all right, I'm taking a picture of this. And I remember I had pictures of like Jeff Mellitz's work, IO Glass's work, a couple other people up there. But before I really had any idea, those people I feel like were pretty key in inspiring me just to want to get into it more.
Yeah, it's great. Where did you first sell your glass?
The first thing I sold was probably word of mouth. I mean, Instagram obviously became 99% of it or whatever, but um, either word of mouth or potentially through a store. I worked for my mentor for probably 2 years, doing little carb caps and stuff, and potentially, I might have helped him and had something get sold in the store. But I think it was probably some random ranky-dink thing that I sold to somebody.
Yeah, great. Are there certain objects that you made at the start that you still make?
Beads.
Yeah.
Yep, all the beads. I like making beads.
And was there a period of time at all that you stopped, or has it
Um,
been continuous?
I would say it ebb and flows. There'll be times where they're in demand more, so I know that I need to push out new colors. So I'll spend a couple weeks pulling tube, cutting them up, doing all the things, so
Mhm.
that way I have a new batch of new colors to keep people excited. Lately, I don't think I've made a bead in 3 or 4 months, probably.
Okay.
But at the same time, I'm still sitting on inventory. So,
Yeah. I feel like I kind of cut you off on you were about to go why you have enjoyed making beats. Start a little bit.
um, yeah, I think that what really drew me into it is it's something that serves a function but is really small,
Hmm.
and it's a really easy way for the average person to get introduced to handmade borosilicate glass.
Yeah, I love that. It's a great answer. So paint me a picture of what the scene looked like to you when you first started blowing glass.
Dang. Um, I feel like when I first got into it, I want to say it was like 2014. Um, it was. I'm sure artists at the time would say that it was already in a bubble, but it felt like we were like right going into that 2016, 2017 bubble, and it was popping. Whitney Shop had probably 7 well-known artists in it. There was always people. The energy there was like nothing I've ever seen since then. I don't think.
Uh,
It was,
okay.
yeah,
What do you feel inspires your work the most right now?
not even who, but what. I think lately I've been inspired by nature as far as like vibrant earth tones,
Okay.
colorful things, light blues, red rocks, things like that. Um, a lot of Southwest uh, tribal colors, patterns, things like that. I enjoy a lot. Um, but yeah, probably mostly just nature as a large umbrella.
Yeah, great. What is your favorite thing to do outside of glass?
For a long time, my answer would have immediately been snowboarding. That's what I want my gut answer to be. Um, but within the last couple years, I can tell that I have not been in shape enough,
Hmm.
and my body is not liking it as much as I do. So now lately, I feel like it's been tinkering with little projects. I'm rebuilding a van right now. That's been a pain in the butt. So I guess van restoration.
Okay. Snowboarding and van restoration. I
Yep.
love it. What is your favorite thing to make right now?
Mm. Cups have always been a big one for me. I like making cups. Um, there's something about them. The process is enjoyable throughout, but I've really been enjoying the simplicity of the joysticks lately. There's something about them that has kind of re-sparked my enjoyment a little bit.
Hmm.
For a while during the dip, I was almost feeling burnt out. I just hit my 10-year mark, and it's something artistically that before, when I'd look at older artists who've been doing it for longer, it was harder to understand because you just have that fire burning inside of you. Just all you want to do all the time is melt stuff. But once you get into a scenario where that's all that you're doing for, X amount of time, it can be challenging to keep that fire burning.
Yeah, I agree.
Hmm.
What do you hope the scene looks like in 10 years?
I hope it just keeps continuing to be here. I hope in 10 years people are still interested in the handmade art of it. You know what I mean? China has been getting so good at massively producing products that are really good. And I feel like it's really pushing the American artists to step outside their comfort zone a little bit and just keep pushing the envelope. So I hope in 10 years we're just making some crazy shit.
Yeah. What do you feel more glassblowers should be paying attention to?
Ooh, maybe function. I always like to say that it's not necessarily form over function or function over form, but it's function and form. The more that we can blend the lines of those two things, I feel like people really appreciate that. And when they have something in their hand, they can tell that it has both of those things and that everything is thought out, um, to even make it even one word, just intention. The more things, whatever you can do to make every step of the piece, even the design, appear intentional to the end consumer, even if they don't pick up on it consciously. I think subconsciously they're picking up on that. I think that's really important.
Yeah, love that answer, man. All right, last question. What do you hope to accomplish in glass?
Mm. I hope, if everything goes right, that I want to be one of those old artists that people look up to, kind of like Snodgrass. Maybe even not as popular. I don't really mind that, but I want to be in the community for as long as possible, rather than having to find some other thing to do and keeping it in the back burner or whatever. You know what I mean? If I can just stick with it until retiring time, then I'll be stoked.
Love it. All right, thank you, man.
Of course. Thank you.